Welcome back, everybody, for another deep dive. This time, we are going to be taking a look at language learning.
Huh.
And I think this is going to be pretty interesting because we're going to be using an English language learning audio course
Okay.
for B1 level learners.
Right.
And we're not just going to be talking about, how to learn a language, but also how the people in this course build relationships,
Okay.
both online and offline. So it's going to be kind of a deep dive into the human experience through the lens of language learning.
So it's like a language lesson and a psych lesson all in one.
Yeah, exactly. And
Yeah.
and what really caught my attention when I was going through this course was like all the different ways that people were approaching language learning. Like one person was jogging and recording themselves making sentences with new vocab.
Wow. That's actually really clever.
Right.
Yeah, because that's active recall, right? Where you're actually trying to retrieve the information from memory,
Ooh.
and that strengthens those neural pathways, and it's going to help them remember those terms longer.
See, that's what I love about these deep dives. I always learn something new about how the brain works.
Yeah.
I always thought flashcards were like the best way to go.
Well, flashcards are good too.
Yeah.
They combine a visual and a verbal cue
You're right.
to connect the word and its meaning.
Yeah. So this
Yeah.
course talks about flashcards too, but it goes even beyond that. There's people who are like explaining app functionalities to customers to practice their English. Oh, wow.
Yeah.
That's thinking on your feet.
Yeah.
Yeah. I remember when I was learning Spanish, I would just try to like narrate my entire day
Uh-huh.
in my head using the words that I knew
Yeah.
and the grammar that I knew. And it wasn't always pretty,
Right.
but it definitely helped.
Yeah. Yeah. I think that's great. I mean, and that's what it's all about. It's
Yeah.
finding those personal connections and making the language relevant to your own life.
Exactly.
And that's another thing that I really liked about this course was that there were all these stories about twins and siblings and different family dynamics.
Yes.
Yeah.
Like those twins that dressed the same growing up.
Yes. I know, right?
I bet they have some stories.
Oh, they must have some good ones.
Oh, yeah.
And then there was also the guy who had like 5 older sisters.
Oh, yeah.
Growing up just surrounded by women.
Makes you think how different you might be
Exactly.
just based on who you grow up with.
Yeah, and it kind of makes you think of that whole nature versus nurture thing,
Right.
like how much of who we are is shaped by our genes
Yeah.
and how much is shaped by our environment, our upbringing,
Yeah.
It's really fascinating.
Yeah. And speaking of connections, this course also looks at online friendships and how some of those work out.
Yeah.
And some of them don't.
Yeah, and there's 2 contrasting stories there, right?
Yeah.
There's the one where the friendship just kind of fizzles out,
Right.
and then there's the other where it really sparks some real world action.
Yeah. And they end up like building a whole community.
Yeah. It's amazing.
And they both started from a shared interest.
Yeah.
But what was really interesting was how that second friendship,
Yeah.
it moved beyond just like the online chats.
Right. I think part of that has to do with communication styles too.
Yeah.
Like some people are just better at expressing themselves and building rapport,
Mm-hmm.
regardless of whether it's online or in person.
Yeah. And it makes me think of something. I heard this leadership consultant, Nancy Maynard.
Okay.
She said that likability is more valuable than skills
Really?
in the first 18 months of a job.
Wow.
Yeah. So are you saying that like being well liked is more important than having the right skills?
Well, I think what Maynard's getting at is that soft skills are super important,
Okay.
especially when you're new to a role.
So like if you have 2 people who are equally skilled,
Yeah.
but one is more approachable,
Right.
maybe a better communicator.
Then, yeah, that person's probably going to make a better first impression.
But wouldn't the lack of hard skills eventually catch up to them?
Well, that's true. You definitely need both, right? Yeah. Like you can't just be likable and not know what you're doing.
Right.
But I think what Maynard's saying is that those soft skills, those things like communication, being a team player,
Right.
those can really help you shine, especially early on.
So it's about finding that right balance between the two.
Absolutely.
But how much weight should we give to likability,
Well,
especially in professional setting?
I think it depends on a lot of factors.
Yeah.
The industry, the company culture, the specific role,
That's true.
all of that comes into play.
It's funny you mention all this because I was just thinking about that story in the course about the woman who accidentally ordered a child-sized desk.
Oh, yeah, that was a good one.
It was hilarious,
Yeah.
but it also shows her problem-solving skills.
Right. She didn't just give up.
Yeah,
She figured out a way to fix it.
exactly.
And I think that's a really valuable skill to have in any situation.
Yeah, and then there's that advice about putting your wet phone in a bag of rice.
Oh, yeah. Have you ever tried that?
I have to admit, I was a little skeptical.
Right.
At first, I was like, really? Does that actually work?
Yeah.
But then one time, my phone took a swim in the pool,
Oh, no.
and I thought, what the heck? I'll give it a
Ah.
try. And it worked.
Wow. I'm impressed.
Yeah, it's not foolproof.
Okay.
I think the key is to act quickly.
Right.
Get the phone out of the water right away,
Mm.
and then bury it in a bag of uncooked rice for at least 24 hours.
Okay. So you have to be prepared.
Yeah, basically.
Have that rice ready.
Yeah, exactly.
Ace.
Have a bag of rice handy at all times.
Right.
Just in case your phone decides to go for a swim.
Well, I mean, you never know.
Right.
Accidents happen.
Exactly.
So it's good to be prepared.
So what have we learned today? We've talked about language learning, but we've also talked about so much more.
We have.
We've talked about how family dynamics shape us,
Yeah.
how we form connections online and offline,
Right.
the importance of soft skills and likability,
Uh-huh.
even problem-solving techniques and quirky life hacks.
It's like a deep dive into the human experience,
Exactly.
all through the lens of language learning.
And you know what's really striking me now
What's that?
is that this audio course,
Mm.
it's designed for B1 level English learners,
Right.
but it's packed with so much wisdom
Mm-hmm.
that's relevant to anyone,
Yeah, I agree.
regardless of their language proficiency.
Yeah, it really is universal.
It's a testament to the power of storytelling
Absolutely.
and the universality of the human experience.
Well said.
Yeah. And thinking about all this
Yeah.
makes me wonder about all those language learning apps and online communities that are out there.
Yeah.
What if we could design the ultimate language learning platform?
Ooh, that's a great question.
You know, like what if we could take everything that we've learned from this deep dive
Yeah.
and create something truly special?
So if you could wave a magic wand
Yeah.
and create the perfect language learning app, what features would it have?
Well, it would have to go beyond just rote memorization
Okay.
and grammar drills.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it would have to incorporate active recall and spaced repetition,
Right.
but in a way that's engaging and fun.
So like gamifying the learning process.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And it would have to be highly personalized,
Okay.
you know, tailored to each individual's goals, interests, learning style.
Makes sense.
We all learn differently. So one size fits all just doesn't work.
Right. And I think you're also hitting on something really important, which is the social aspect
Yes.
of language learning.
It can't just be about solitary study.
Right.
It has to be about connecting with others.
Exactly.
Yeah, I envision like a vibrant online community where learners can connect with each other, share their experiences,
Mm-hmm.
practice their language skills in real-time conversations,
Yeah.
maybe even collaborate on projects.
And imagine if you could then transition those online interactions to real-world meetups.
Yeah,
You know, like cultural exchange programs.
Yeah. that would be amazing.
It would be like taking that virtual community
Right.
and bringing it to life.
Yeah, it would be a whole new dimension
It would.
to language learning.
Absolutely.
And who knows, maybe somewhere out there, some brilliant developer is already working on this.
I hope so.
Yeah, maybe someday soon we'll all be learning languages and connecting with each other
Yeah.
in ways we never thought possible.
I love that idea.
Yeah.
It's exciting to think about the future of language learning
It is.
and how technology can help us connect with each other on a deeper level.
Absolutely.
It's a beautiful thing.
It is.
And I have a feeling that we're just scratching the surface of what's possible.
I think so too.
So I'm excited to see what the future holds
Me too.
for language learning and for human connection in general.
Yeah. It's all about breaking down those barriers and building bridges.
Exactly.
And language is a powerful tool for doing that.
Absolutely well said.
So to all of our listeners out there,
Yeah.
we challenge you to keep this conversation going. What would your ideal language learning experience look like?
Yeah. Think about it.
Share your ideas.
Dream big.
Dream big.
And who knows?
Yeah.
Maybe someday we'll see those dreams become a reality.
Maybe.
It's possible.
It
Because
is.
anything is possible
Yeah.
when it comes to human ingenuity and the desire to connect,
So keep exploring
keep learning.
and keep connecting with the world around you.
Yes. The journey of language learning.
It's full of surprises,
Yeah.
insights, and endless possibilities.
So keep diving deep.
And we'll see you on our next adventure.
Until next time, happy learning.
Happy learning.
Bye.
Bye.
It's all about, I guess, weighing the risks and using your best judgment, right? Sometimes those unorthodox solutions can be surprisingly effective, and it's that willingness to think outside the box that can really make a difference.
Yeah, for sure. You know, it's interesting how this language learning audio course goes beyond
Yeah.
just, grammar and vocabulary.
Mm.
It really delves into like the human experience.
Yeah.
We've talked about how family dynamics shape us,
Right.
how we form connections online and offline, and even how something as simple as likability can have a big impact.
Yeah, especially in those first 18 months at a new job.
Exactly. Remember that part in the audio course where the main character is trying to explain a technical problem to a colleague,
Oh, yeah.
but they just can't get their point across?
Yeah, it was painful to listen to.
I know, right? They clearly had the technical knowledge, but they struggled to communicate it effectively.
Exactly. And that just shows how important those soft skills are.
Yeah.
Like, being able to communicate clearly and build rapport can really make or break those crucial first impressions.
Just like Nancy Maynard was saying.
Exactly.
It really adds another layer to the whole likability argument, doesn't it?
It does.
It's not just about being charming. It's also about conveying your ideas in a way that resonates with others.
Yeah. It's about building trust and establishing those connections that allow for effective collaboration and knowledge sharing.
Right? Without those soft skills, even the most brilliant ideas can get lost in translation.
So true. But on the flip side, is there a risk that we might overlook highly skilled individuals?
Oh, that's a good point.
If we overemphasize likability,
Yeah.
if someone is highly skilled but maybe a little more introverted or less outwardly expressive.
Yeah, it's almost like we're back to that nature versus nurture idea again.
Right.
Are some people just naturally more outgoing and better at connecting with others, or can those skills be learned and developed over time?
That's a great question.
What do you think?
I think it's probably a combination of both.
Yeah.
Some people might have a natural charisma, but I think anyone can improve their communication skills with conscious effort and the right guidance.
Right, practice makes perfect.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm also wondering if the importance of likability varies across different cultures.
I'm sure it does.
Yeah.
Cultural norms play a huge role in how we interact and perceive each other.
Yet, what might be considered charming or approachable in one culture could be seen as completely inappropriate in another.
Exactly. It's another layer of complexity that makes this whole discussion so fascinating.
I know, it really is. It reminds me of that time I was traveling in country, and I totally misjudged a social situation.
Oh, no.
Because I didn't understand the cultural nuances.
Yeah.
It was a learning experience, for sure.
Oh, I bet. It's funny how those real-world experiences can be the best teachers.
Yeah.
They force us to step outside of our comfort zones and challenge our assumptions.
Right. It's like that moment in the audio course where the woman accidentally orders a child-sized desk.
Oh, yeah.
At first, it just seems like a silly mistake,
Right.
but then it becomes a lesson in problem solving.
Yeah, she could have easily panicked, but she stayed calm, contacted the company, and got a refund.
Yeah, it's a great reminder that even when things go wrong, there's usually a solution.
Yeah, if you're willing to be a little creative.
Exactly. Speaking of unconventional solutions, did you ever try that trick with the wet phone and the bag of rice?
I've always wondered if that actually works.
I have to admit, I was skeptical at first, too.
Yeah, it sounds a bit too good to be true.
I know, right?
Yeah.
But I did try it once when my phone took an unexpected dip in the pool.
Oh, really? And what happened?
It worked.
You're kidding.
I know, I was surprised, too. It's not foolproof, of course.
Okay.
I think the key is to act quickly.
Right.
Get the phone out of the water as soon as possible,
Yeah.
and then bury it in a bag of uncooked rice for at least 24 hours.
Do you think the type of rice matters?
That's a good question. I'm not sure if there's been any scientific research on the optimal type of rice for phone resuscitation,
Right.
but I used regular long-grain white rice, and it did the trick.
Interesting. It's amazing how these seemingly random bits of knowledge can sometimes come in handy.
It is. It's like those quirky life hacks you find online. Some of them are pure genius,
Yeah.
while others are best left untested.
For sure. It's all about separating the wheat from the chaff, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
But it's also about being open to new ideas and approaching problems from different angles.
I agree.
Sometimes the most unexpected solution can be the most effective.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
It's that willingness to experiment and think outside the box that often leads to those aha moments.
Totally. And it's those moments that make learning so rewarding.
Yeah, for sure.
It's like we've gone on this incredible journey with this language learning audio course.
We have.
We started with basic vocabulary and grammar,
Right.
but we've delved into so much more
It's true.
family dynamics, online versus offline relationships, the importance of soft skills and likability, problem-solving techniques, even quirky life hacks.
It's amazing how it all ties together.
It is. It's like we've been peeling back the layers of human experience, revealing all these fascinating nuances and complexities.
I love that analogy.
And it makes you realize that language is so much more than just words and grammar.
It is.
It's a tool for understanding ourselves and the world around us.
It's a bridge that connects us to different cultures, different perspectives, and different ways of thinking.
Exactly. And I think that's what makes language learning so enriching. It's not just about acquiring a new skill.
Right.
It's about expanding your horizons and opening yourself up to new possibilities.
It's about embracing the diversity of human experience and recognizing the common threads that bind us together.
Beautifully said.
Yeah.
You know, thinking about all this makes me wonder about those language learning apps and online communities that are so popular these days.
Yeah, me too.
What if we could take everything we've learned from this deep dive and design the ultimate language learning platform?
Oh, that's a fantastic idea. What would that look like?
I think the ideal platform would have to go beyond just rote memorization and grammar drills.
Okay.
It would have to incorporate those elements of active recall and spaced repetition that we discussed earlier,
Right.
but in a way that feels engaging and fun.
So like gamifying the learning process.
Exactly.
I love it.
And it would have to be highly personalized.
Yeah.
Tailoring the learning path to each individual's goals,
Makes sense.
interests, and learning style.
Right, because we all learn differently.
Exactly. One size fits all just doesn't cut it.
And we can't forget about the social aspect of language learning.
Right.
It can't just be about solitary study.
It has to foster those meaningful connections we've been talking about.
Exactly. I envision a vibrant online community where learners can connect with each other, share their experiences, practice their language skills in real-time conversations.
Yes.
And even collaborate on projects.
And imagine if you could seamlessly transition from those online interactions to real-world meetups and cultural exchange programs.
That would be amazing.
It would create a whole new dimension to language learning.
It would transform it from an academic pursuit into a truly immersive and transformative experience.
And who knows, maybe somewhere out there, a brilliant developer is already working on this very platform.
I hope so.
Maybe someday soon we'll all be learning languages and connecting with each other in ways we never thought possible.
I have a feeling you might be right. The world of technology is constantly evolving.
Yeah.
And I wouldn't be surprised if we see some groundbreaking innovations in the language learning space in the coming years.
Yeah.
After all, the desire to connect and communicate transcends borders and languages.
It's a fundamental human need.
It really is.
It's wild to think about how much we've talked about just from this one little English learning audio course.
I know, right?
Like we started with basic vocabulary and grammar, but we ended up talking about family dynamics, online relationships,
Right.
the importance of being likable at work, even problem solving and weird life hacks.
It's amazing how it's all connected.
I know. It feels like we've peeled back the layers of like what it means to be human.
I like that.
And language is at the center of it all.
Totally. It's not just about the words themselves. It's
Yeah.
about understanding each other and the world around us.
And that's what makes language learning so cool.
Yeah.
You learn a new skill, but you also open yourself up to new ways of thinking.
You see things from a new perspective.
Exactly. Thinking about all this, it makes me wonder about those language learning apps and websites out there. What if we could design the perfect one? Like the ultimate language learning platform.
Ooh, that's a fun thought experiment.
What would it look like?
Well, first of all, it would have to be super personalized,
Right.
right? Like it would adapt to each person's goals and interests.
I agree. Because we all learn in different ways.
Exactly. No more one-size-fits-all approaches.
And of course, it would use all those evidence-based learning techniques.
Right, like active recall and spaced repetition.
But it would have to be fun, too.
Oh, for sure. Like imagine interactive games and maybe even virtual reality experiences.
Ooh, that would be cool. You could like travel to different countries from your living room.
Yeah, and don't forget the community aspect.
Yes, a place where people can connect with other learners.
Yeah, practice their skills in real conversations.
We even work on projects together.
It would be like a global language learning village.
I love that.
Yeah.
And who knows, maybe someday those online friendships could turn into real-life meetups.
Wouldn't that be amazing? It would be like taking language learning to a whole new level.
So to everyone listening out there,
Yeah.
what would your dream language learning experience be like?
Share your ideas.
Yeah, think big.
And you never know. Maybe someone out there is already building it.
That's true. The future of language learning is full of possibilities.
It's an exciting time to be a language learner.
It really is.
So keep exploring,
Keep learning.
And most importantly, keep connecting with the world around you.
It's been a fantastic deep dive, everybody.
It has.
Thanks for joining us.
Until next time.
Happy learning.